Hi, everybody. This is Andrea Pocket, President and co-founder of Stigma-Free Mental Health Society. I have to say, I am very excited to have you here today to watch our podcast, Stigma-Free Voices, while we're live or after the fact. So please do share. And I'm very excited to have Wendy here today. So Wendy, if you just want to say a quick hello, that would be wonderful.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be here to be talking about our Farmers Mental Health Program on PEI.
Yeah, and the Rural Mental Wellness Program with Stigma-Free Mental Health is so related to what you do, and we're very excited to talk about farmers' mental wellness, your organization, your passions, and just so happy to have you here. So first and foremost, I thought a great way to kick off the podcast would be to simply share a little bit about you and your bio. Does that sound good to you?
Absolutely, that's great.
All right, perfect. So Wendy Holm is a clinical social worker and co-founder of In Good Time Wellness Collective. She also leads the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program, providing confidential, accessible mental health support for farmers and their families across Prince Edward Island. And I was just asking you before we jumped on live here, where are you tuning in from exactly? Let us know.
I am in Summerside, Prince Edward Island right now.
And very
So
rural community.
Yeah, it's a fairly rural. We like to consider Summerside a city, but I don't think that by other people's standards it would be considered a city. So.
Yeah, and I'm in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, my new location too, of 33,000 people, fairly small. Are we comparative, or how many people are in your town?
I have no idea, so I will quickly look that up if that's okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Oh, about 16,000.
16,000. Okay, about half of what I have here in Moose Jaw. So yeah, really wonderful to be connecting with you in the rural communities where we're both so passionate about providing programs for farmers and rural residents. So I'm going to jump into some questions. And I was hoping first and foremost, if you could provide us with an intro to the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program for those who just don't know what it is, if you could share a bit about that.
I would love to. I'm really excited. I'm honored to be here sharing about it. I'm new to this role. In about June, I think, is when I took over some of the administrative parts of the program. And it's been going here on PEI for 25 years. So this is a program that people who were working in the mental health field 25 years ago recognized that there was a need for services that are specialized towards farmers and to people who are working in the agriculture program and trying to understand the unique pressures and context that they would be dealing with. And so I am very honored as a new person as part of this program to be able to share about this because I'm very proud to be part of it. And we do provide counseling services to the primary industries on PEI for the most part. So we do farming, agriculture is a big piece, but we also do fisheries, aquaculture, shell fisheries, and tourism. So we do provide to multiple areas of industry in PEI. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So it's like one-on-one counseling kind of thing? Is it support groups, or how does it structure?
It is structured as one-on-one counseling. So we are providing the one-to-one counseling. There's 3 people who are available to provide the counseling. So it's myself, there's another counselor, Frank Bulger, and then Jan does virtual, and she's actually located out west, but has been and is an islander for her whole life and has moved recently. But yes, we do provide the one-to-one counseling. And then there are other parts. So if there is some sort of educational piece or people want us to come and speak to them about our program, we'll do that. And then we try to the best of our ability to be responsive to any crises that might happen and be available when things happen that might need additional support on the ground.
Yeah, well, it sounds like what you're doing is amazing. And I was just wondering, Stigma-Free Mental Health was born in BC. We do a lot of work in Manitoba and Alberta, and then now trailing into Saskatchewan with my new move here last week. But in PEI, I was wondering, how do you feel the culture is, the environment when it comes to talking about mental health? And do you notice stigma being very prevalent?
It's interesting. So as I was preparing for this conversation, I spoke with Frank Bulger, who is, the person who has been part of this program much longer than I have. And he was talking about what he's saying of stigma over the years and just how, in some ways, there has been so much improvement in this area on our island. And sometimes it's almost hard to recognize that it still exists. And so that's hopeful. And the other part of that, though, is that I think some of it has just gone a little bit underground, and that maybe there are certain parts of mental health that people are very comfortable with and certain parts that they aren't. I don't know if this is applicable to the bigger picture, but I know something I see in my office, especially from farmers, I think, who are very, want to have a solution, is that, when they identify that something falls under mental health, they're like, okay, I'll get some support, but they want that to be something that they can fix. And so things that are more long-term or things that require a more ongoing care are, I think, received a little bit differently than things that are more solution-focused. And okay, we want this to be, we want this to be something that we can solve. So I think there's so much improvement, and I know we still have a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, well, definitely. And building that trust in small communities and rural communities, farming communities, right? So I was just wondering, for the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program, how do you earn that trust with farmers over the years? And how do you bring that forward in the work that you do?
Well, and I think exactly what you just said. I think it's something that over time and consistency. And, I'm lucky because I'm stepping into a program that has been around for 25 years and has trust. But I think for the people who came before me, it is, and what I hope to continue to do is that consistency, that reliability. They know that we are here when we're needed, and we're just quietly sitting here waiting for people to come to us, and when they're ready, we're here. And I think that's how we've earned some trust over the years.
Amazing. Oh no, I really like it. It takes time to build trust, and it's so great to see you have that track record of 25 years. That is amazing and just so astounding, and to have that type of boots on the ground, right? And people know you and trust you. So that is great. So farmers face challenges that look very different from other professions, and we know this. So what are some of the specific mental health pressures that farmers experience, and particularly farmers in PEI?
So I think in terms of farming and PEI, we see two sort of specific things that are coming forward. Sorry, maybe I'm not putting that the right way. The way I would categorize it, I guess, is two things. So things that are very farm specific. So things like weather and what's the word I'm looking for? The changing of the environment and those things, and trying to make their farms, balancing. We want to be making money and producing a quality product, but we also want to be balancing that, because I feel, farming is not only a profession or a way of making money. I feel like most of the farmers and farm families that I speak with are very much would consider themselves they're stewards of the land, and the land is something that after they're gone will still be here. And so how do you kind of balance the needs of making money with also being that steward of the land? The legacy of your family is often in that land as well. So you're not just a steward of your environmental land, you're steward of that family operation and the legacy that you're going to be passing on. And so there's just so many things within that I think are very specific to farming. I think there's always the the need to be dealing with whether the summer, and I'm not a farmer, so I can't speak to this very well, but I know this was a very dry summer, and there was they were calling it a drought, and so I know that was impacting farmers, right? And so I'm sure that happens anywhere. And then I think the other thing that we see that's a little bit less specific to farms is just the the mental health that any other family or individual might experience, but within that context of a farm. And so we're having, relationship issues, and and that's within the context. And I think that's something too that we want to be able to provide, is that when somebody comes in and they say, hey, yeah, like I'm a farmer and I have whatever, I'm milking cows, and we're not going to be like, okay, well, just don't milk your cows today, or like those are not the kinds of things that we would suggest, obviously, and not that other people would, but like having that idea of context that we have to be aware of when we're addressing the specific mental health issues that may not be at all related to farming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, completely makes sense. And I think another thing that I notice at the work with Stigma-Free Mental Health, and what you say is really good points about the environment and weather and the unpredictability. And I also notice sometimes farmers are very self-reliant and have a lot of grit, which is an amazing thing to be self-reliant. But when it comes to mental health and somebody needs help, it's really important that individuals know that it's okay to reach out for help, and that people don't have to do it alone. And so you mentioned as well about the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program. You don't just support individual farmers, but also family dynamics on the farm. And I was wondering if you could talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think every family has their dynamics, and there's a context outside of that, regardless of whether you're a farmer or not. I think within the farming families, it's just the negotiating the needs of the farm and the different ways that people may want or prefer to do things, or the expectations around that, whether it's from generation to generation or even from family to family, that brothers might have different, or sisters might have different expectations on how to do things. And does that answer your question? I'm not sure.
No, it completely does. And so everybody has their own viewpoint, way of handling things. And I think another thing that maybe you noticed as well is that sometimes the younger generation doesn't want to inherit the farm, and then that can cause some family dynamics as well. But I think it's great that your Atlantic Employee Assistance Program is addressing those family dynamics, supporting the family and the farmer. I think that's really important, right?
And we do support with succession planning. So that is a piece of what we do. I mean, there would still be other pieces in terms of like the financial. I'm not a lawyer or a financial person, but a lot of the different parts of succession planning and the skill development that goes into having those conversations and negotiating the differences and helping people feel that everybody is heard and represented in a way that feels comfortable for people.
Yeah, 100%. And with a program like this that you're leading up now, and it's so amazing to hear, like I said, the 25 years making an impact and being right there with farmers. So I was wondering as well, why is it important for the farming community to have a program like this rather than trying to access support through more general services?
Yeah, I think, the way I look at our program is that it is a part of, or it's a piece of the services available for mental health. So I don't, we are separate and distinct, but that we're a piece of the puzzle. And I think what we can provide is just someplace where people know that it's safe, it is confidential. We are it is a small place, and confidentiality is a very important thing. And it doesn't always have to be like, oh, this person told me that I see you or something like that. It can even just be, the location of your office and things like that, right? Can be important in terms of confidentiality to people. I think that the individual programming for the farmers, it just offers some place where people can have that trust, they can have the relationship. We try very hard to be quick and responsive, and so we don't have wait times for our farmers, which I think ideally would be in any program that's providing mental health services, but we are lucky enough that we are able, or that the people have set the program up in the way that, if people call, for the most part, they are getting an appointment within the next few days. And so we feel that that's really important for especially farmers, because the nature of their work can change so quickly and there can be so much going on, and it's not always easy to plan and say, okay, in 2 weeks from now, I'm going to have a spot and that's when I'm going to go. Sometimes it is really important to be able to be a little bit more flexible and responsive. And I think just for the understanding the context of the farming community and what the needs are.
Well, it's amazing because your organization is so responsive and has that quick turnaround time. And as we know, so many mental health organizations and even health services across Canada are so overwhelmed, and the response time can sometimes lag. So it's nice to see that you have that capacity and that experience to be able to be really responsive, right? Great.
And I think that's so important because it was very much built into the program, right? Is something that they wanted to make sure was part of what we offer to the community, because wait times can be very challenging.
Yes, definitely. And when people need help, they need it right away. And so before I jump into my last question, since we're talking about the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program, where can people learn more online or in person? Where can they find information on this program?
So what would be the best thing is I should have prepared this. There's a website through the Federation of Agriculture and PEI. So if they check out that website for the Federation of Agriculture, it will direct you to the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program. So it'll direct you to a number. I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily call it the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program. They'd be like the Farmers Counseling or, the Federation Counseling or something like that is often what I hear it referred to. But just knowing you can go to that website for the Federation and find it there. And it's the same number. So if there's somebody who wanted through fisheries, it's taking you all to the same place. So likewise, like we don't have our own website. It's the individual organizations that are having that communication with the farmers and the fishermen and the different populations. And so like the fisheries, you can go to their website and find it. And it's mostly just call us and we will get back to you, or we will answer the phone and talk to you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, thanks for that. And then my last question is, can you tell me more about In Good Time Wellness Collective? It's an organization that you have co-founded. And what services are offered through this additional organization that we're chatting about today?
So that is it's private counseling, I guess. It is myself and my colleague Tara Shea, and we are located here in Summerside. And, mental health on the island is becoming more accessible, like mental health services are becoming more accessible. But we really wanted to create a space that we could provide counseling services to the community. We have a number of people that are working with us, and we want it to be a good place for our clinicians as well as for the people who are coming here to see a counselor. And I think the name really goes along with the Farmers Counseling Program. We developed it through working with some people who were helping us with marketing. Chris and Kyle from Humble Hound, thank you very much. And they spoke to us and they were like, okay, this is a name we think you guys should have. And we think it's in good time because, we believe, much like the Farmers Counseling, that while we do want to address any issues as quickly as we can, obviously, that things take time, and that when we allow time and care, that's when things will change. And so that is our company, and I feel very much that it aligns with the Farmers Counseling Program because that is 100%, right? We're just trying to be here and present and available for people when they need services.
Amazing. Who's your co-founder?
Tara Shea.
Tara, okay, amazing. And how long have you had this business?
So it's interesting because it's almost like a bucket, and I don't, it's not like I come to work and one day I'm doing, In Good Time and another day I'm doing the farmers counseling program. It's sort of all part of it, or all part of my day to day. And so I've been here privately for 5 years, and then Tara joined, and then we, slowly, so we've been developing for 5 years, but In Good Time has been about a year and a bit of that particular name and business. Yeah.
It's always nice to see people founding ventures and just taking on these amazing things that are making a big impact in the community. And is there a place where people can learn more about the collective?
Yeah, we do have a website. So it is ingoodtime.ca is our website. And we have social media and that kind of thing for the In Good Time. It's interesting because the Atlantic Employee Assistance Program hasn't marketed itself in a way that I think traditionally you would see things being marketed, and it is the word of mouth, and it is the, and certainly the Federation is consistently putting out the information saying, hey, just so you know, this is here, and with the hopes that they see it, people might see it and then remember, oh, okay, I need that now. I know it's here on some piece of paper. So they are consistently putting it out, but there's not like a big marketing thing. And it word of mouth is really the most powerful thing, I think, in a small community. And that is for both.
Yeah, and especially people who have had positive experiences, right? And have that firsthand experience with the program. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today and for Stigma-Free Voices.
Thank you for having me.
Stay on. Yeah, thank you. And stay on the line, and me and you will chat a little bit more. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in, Stigma-Free Voices. If you are watching this, please do share on your social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Rural Mental Wellness on Facebook, and also our general Facebook page. And please share after if you would like. Please visit stigmafreementalhealth.com. You can learn about our Rural Mental Wellness program, our Rural Minds Matter initiative, and also about our school program going back to school now. So I feel that would also be very helpful for educators and families. All right, thank you, Wendy, and thank you everybody for watching, and have a lovely day. Take care.